Hello there everyone, and welcome to a new mock update series. This is going to be a little bit of a smaller one than what I normally do, but this time it's going to be something I'm very excited about, something I haven't done before but I've really wanted to do, and that is build a Lord of the Rings mock. So I'm going to be building the Black Gate from Return of the King. It's going to be a little bit of a mix from some artwork, some stuff from the film, some stuff from the book as well, all sorts of different reference material combining into one epic Lego mock. So without any further ado, let's get started. Here we go, an empty base plate. One of my favorite parts as a mock builder is to see an empty base plate, and now I have to figure out what exactly I'm going to do next. I've been kind of on a huge Lord of the Rings kind of mood right now. I got Barad-dûr and I finished it, and it's one of my favorite things ever. I started rereading the books as well. It's been a long time since I've read them. Currently only finishing up Fellowship right now, so I haven't gotten to Return of the King yet, but I'll probably read the chapter maybe real quick or skim through it for the Black Gate just to get some details on what the Black Gate looks like. I've been doing some research, and I kind of want to base it more off of some illustrations I've been seeing and not necessarily what takes place in the Lord of the Rings movies, because from a minifigure standpoint, I don't want to just have them all in one area surrounded. I really want to mix it together, and I don't want to just have all the minifigures take place in one spot. I like the idea of the battle being a little bit more spread out, because with this amount of space right here, I'm not going to be building the whole Black Gate. I'm going to build just a really large kind of portion of it right here, kind of scaled right here, so I won't be able to build the full thing. So I'll probably just build one of the watchtowers and then part of the gate right there. And that way I can have some really cool minifigure setups where I can have all the soldiers kind of mixed in together. And one of the reasons I wanted to do the Battle of the Black Gate was I love the idea of all these random orcs, which really helps for minifigures because it's so hard to get Lord of the Rings minifigures. So I'm just going to be able to kind of mix in a bunch of kind of orc custom minifigures. And then I really love the idea of both Rohan and Gondor soldiers being mixed in together. So I'm really excited to get this mock started, and I don't really know how exactly this is all going to look, but I also want to add in a few things that I read online where there's some kind of slag mounds and some waste pits and kind of some kind of random stuff like that, maybe some molten lava cracks, stuff that you don't necessarily see in the movie, because in the movie, in Peter Jackson's movies, as epic as it is, it's kind of just a flat, kind of sandy, muddy area, like dirt area, and there's not really much going on. I really want to kind of do something a little bit different for this mock, so who knows what this is going to look like at the end of these episodes, but here's what it looks like, just flat like this, and it's time to get started. Here we go. And for minifigures here are my soldiers of Gondor. I think I've got 14 so far. I don't know if I'll be able to do many more for this mock. This might be it, but I've got them all finally built and all lined up. I've also got a custom Gandalf the White because the actual minifigure is absurdly priced. So I've kind of made my own. I know he doesn't look as good as the official Lego minifigure, but I'm not paying, you know, $40+ for a Lego minifigure right now. So I'm just going to make my own for Gandalf the White right now, and that's what I've got. So here's Gandalf the White with a bunch of the Gondor soldiers. So it begins. I have started a little bit of progress here, and now I can kind of show you guys what I've been thinking up. First off, over here, you can see I've got the actual Black Gate where that'll be going, and that'll connect to a mountain right here, which will be where a watchtower will go, and that'll connect back into the actual wall itself. Over here, I'm going to do another mountain, kind of like going up like this, just to give this a little bit of detail over here. Over here will be a little bit of another rocky kind of ledge area. It won't be as tall as a mountain or anything like that. It'll just be, you know, a couple bricks up right here, and that's probably where a lot of the main heroes will be fighting. So a lot of the main characters will be kind of fighting in that area over there. And then over here in the middle is where a lot of the action will be taking place. Now again, in the films, it's a very flat area, and then in some of the reference pictures, it's still somewhat flat, so I'm trying to find ways to make it less flat, which is why I'll be adding in kind of a mountain over here, and then a little bit of a rock formation right there. But this may end up being fairly flat, so what I'm trying to do here is, you can see I've started to add in a couple different slope mounds right here, so I kind of want to have these throughout the build. That way, just to give it a little bit of texture and not just be completely flat, because I really don't want to just have this be flat, even though most of this will be covered by minifigures. So most of the detail of this build will be kind of the tower and the Black Gate itself and some of these mountains and rock work, but this area probably will be a little flat with maybe a couple of things here and there, like these little mounds, maybe some lava pits or something like that. So here's what I've got so far, and I think it's time to really start to get into this. A couple clips ago, I showed you guys what I've got for the Gondor soldiers. Here's my Rohan soldiers right here. This is what we're gonna have to use until LEGO decides to do the theme once again, the full theme, and hopefully some battle packs, which would be one of the coolest things ever. But for now, my wallet has to cry, and I have to kind of army build these, which again is cheaper than buying the actual figures, but it's still not as cheap as it would be if LEGO were just to get their act together and do some battle packs, because those would sell amazingly, and I would buy probably more than I've ever bought before for battle packs. Anyway, here we go. Here's my Rohan soldiers. No cavalry because I don't have very many horses. I've spent all my money on the minifigures instead of any horses for now. So here we go. Here's my Rohan army, looking pretty cool. Lots of them have spears, and then a couple swords here and there, and archers in the back. But so I think I've got 15 right here, and then I've got the 14 or so Gondor soldiers. So hopefully that'll be enough for this mock. My wallet says it's enough, so it's gonna have to do. Here are some of our main characters. I showed you guys Gandalf. I went ahead and gave him kind of a reddish brown belt. So I don't know if that's any better or if just the all white is a better look, but it just looked a little odd to me. But there's my kind of purest Gandalf custom right there. The cape is actually a custom cape. I don't remember where I got it. I think just like a massive parts haul or something at Brickworld. I think someone was selling like a custom cape. So it's like a bounty hunter cape, Mandalorian kind of cape right there. So I'll have to replace that with an actual white cape. What I do like about this cape is it has the black outline, which is kind of cool. But anyway, Legolas and Gimli from the original line. I've had these guys for a few years now. The one character I don't have is Aragorn in his kind of King of Gondor outfit, which is absurdly priced as well. So I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. So I may end up looking for just the torso, but even the torso is crazy expensive on its own. So I don't know what I'm going to do for Aragorn. So let me know if you guys have any suggestions on kind of any purist like custom I can make with Lego torsos that aren't too expensive to get, so that way I can make a version of him in kind of his king garb. So here are the main characters. I may include Merry and Pippin as well, because I can just kind of get them in some different armor and stuff. But these are 3 of the characters. They'll kind of be up here on this mountain right here, this little hillside. I'll kind of have them battling it out and giving some cool poses to them. And here are my forces of Mordor. Again, a mix of some actual Lego minifigures from the sets, as well as some custom ones with different torsos and heads and helmets and things like that. Up here in the front, I have a couple Nazgul as well as the Mouth of Sauron. You guys left and let me know if he's actually in the battle itself. I'm not sure. I do know he came out and talked with the leaders of men and everything like that, and he had that conversation, but I don't know. I can't remember if he actually like participated in the battle. Either way, I might have him in there because, as you can see, my forces of orcs are low in number compared to all of my other minifigures over there for Gondor and Rohan. And in the battle, the orcs are supposed to outnumber the forces of men by a very large number. The problem is orcs, like their minifigures, are very, very expensive. Luckily, I have a couple from Barad-dûr in here that helps kind of bolster my forces, but I've been trying to order them anywhere I can find, but most stores only have 1, maybe 2, and they're usually above $10 a piece, unless you want to get like broken ones with lots of cracks in the torsos. Then those are, you know, $7 or $8, but they are just crazily priced. That's why I said if Lego did a battle pack of orcs, I would get so many of them. It would be crazy. So I've had to put together a lot of just random Star Wars alien heads and some troll heads, castle heads, and then just some random torsos and accessories and pieces of armor, some samurai armor in there as well, and just random weapons and pikes and spears to really bolster my forces, because otherwise I won't have enough. The minifigures I do have from the sets are amazing. I love them, but I just don't have enough of them. So I've ordered a couple more here and there whenever I find some more orcs for sale on Bricklink for not crazy prices, although at this point I think I have to kind of understand that all of the prices are crazy for Lord of the Rings minifigures. So I've got a couple more coming in the mail. I think tomorrow I should have maybe 3 or 4 more coming in the mail. So I'll keep adding to these forces right here. But for now, this is my orc army, and hopefully this will be enough, but I'll definitely try to grab a few more. But yeah, now it's time to get back to building. So I've worked a little bit here and completed this section right here where the main characters will be fighting, and this rock work will lead up into a larger kind of mountain right here, which will be where the tower that I showed you guys earlier will go. But here's what I've got for this little location, kind of just a small little ledge area with the dark brown as the main kind of ground design, and then a couple of slope pieces here and there to kind of give it a little bit more texture so it wasn't super flat. And I've got some of the main characters there, and this will kind of be the area where they are showcased. But here's what I've got so far for this little section. Here we go, guys. Here's the first design I've started to come up with for one of the watchtowers that I'm going to have in the build. I was trying to figure out a way to make it circular, so I was using some of those macaroni pieces I'll show you guys here in a second. But essentially, here's what I've got going on so far. You can see I'm using some of the slopes right there to kind of give it a windowed look. And then I'm using lots of these like 1x2 cheese slopes to kind of connect all these and make it somewhat flush, as you can see right there. I've been trying a lot of different colors for that accent color. So right now I've got dark orange. I tried dark gray, dark brown, and light and medium nougat. And I settled with dark orange, but the more I look at it, the more I think I may change it back to nougat or something like that. So I'm not too sure what I want to do yet on that color, but here's what I've got for the outside of the tower. It's replicated over there. I just need to figure out what to do on the sides. That's the next step. Here's what it looks like on the inside, again, using some of those macaroni pieces, I think is what they're called. And then here is what I've been using to connect these side panels. A stud on the bottom there and a jumper plate on top, and then kind of this modified plate with studs on the side, and then connecting it to the kind of panel right there. I was looking at Barad-dûr, the Lego set, because it's just awesome, trying to look at some of the towers that they did on that and try to figure out how they did that. And some of the design they used these kind of pieces right here, so I kind of tried to figure out how I could make a design like that work with what I'm doing here on my build. I've been working a little bit more on the tower here, so now I've got it completely rounded out here all along the outside, so it's now all complete. Here's kind of what I got for the side angle, nothing too crazy here, just some slopes and different tiles and things like that. And now it kind of connects all the way around, and I'm liking the way it's looking. Again, the only thing I'm not too sure about is that dark orange. I'll have to see what you guys have to say and if I should switch that to a medium nougat or some other color. And next thing I'm going to do is build a bunch more of these sections. So I'm going to build one more of each of these parts and then stack it, and that'll be the main height of the tower. All right, here are the pieces that will be all connecting together to add another layer to the tower. Let me know in the comments if you guys are floor builders or not. That's always a discussion in the LEGO community or not. I definitely find myself building on the floor more often than not. So I'm going to go ahead and attach these and show you guys what we've got so far. All right, that was one of the harder things I've done in terms of LEGO designing. I've never really done circular buildings like this before, at least not what I was trying to do with this technique. But here is kind of it double stacked, so this is the height it'll be at. I just need to add kind of a roof and the actual watchtower part that'll kind of be up top right here. So this is what we're looking like. Here's the minifigure next to it, so there's kind of your scale comparison. There are a few gaps here and there. It doesn't line up perfectly. Kind of my dimensions are off just slightly here and there, trying to connect everything. I'll kind of show you guys here in the middle. I've never tried to do something like this, so I was definitely learning my way through it, and it was definitely a struggle, but it's mostly looking okay. The good part is it comes apart in like sections, and I actually need to move it over to the other table because I decided for some reason to work on I decided to work on this before the mountain, but I can't install this piece of the build unless I get the mountain done. So I need to go get the mountain done first and then put this back on there, and hopefully I can tighten up some of those gaps here and there. But yeah, here's what we're looking like for the tower so far. All right, so I've been working a lot here on this side of the build. As you can see, I've added in all of this rock work over here and this section over here, and I put the tower on top right now. I moved it over from where I was working on it earlier. Here's a close-up of some of the rock work right here. For this rock work, I was doing a lot more kind of the inverted slopes, the large ones, to make it more kind of jagged and kind of uneven, if that makes sense. And I have it connected here to this kind of area right here that I showed you guys in one of the previous clips. And it goes up here to this new level up here with a couple more rock work and some terrain. And here is the tower itself. Now you can kind of see how tall it's going to be, and then it will connect to the wall as it goes across down over here. So lots of progress here. Here's what it looks like compared to the rest of the mock here, so now you can see how tall the tower is going to be. What I'm going to do for the last clip here in this episode is actually work on the top of the tower and get that kind of tiled off and make kind of a roof slash kind of a guard tower area where some orcs can be up there and kind of shooting some arrows down here on the battlefield. So that'll kind of be the last thing I do for this episode, but I wanted to show you guys what I've been working on here, and hopefully you guys think it looks kind of cool. And here's what I've got here for the roof. I've kind of done a little bit of a spike design, something I've been looking at through lots of artwork and then obviously from the films and everything in the descriptions. I love the idea of kind of these like jagged spikes and kind of pikes coming out of every direction. It fits really well with like the orc armor and a lot of their weapons and spears and stuff. I just like that kind of idea of their fortresses and walls almost also feeling like weapons as well. So I've got kind of these spikes on top right there, and it kind of gives it a cool little look. So now it's all kind of covered on the top right there. There's some defensive positions, so I can put some orcs up there and kind of have them shooting some arrows down at the forces of men. All right, guys, and with that, that is pretty much going to do it for this episode. I'll kind of show you guys here all of the progress in this episode. It doesn't look like a whole lot, but again, this is only going to be probably a 3-part series, so this is what I've got done for the first episode, this whole section over here with the rockwork, some of the terrain, and then one of the watchtowers right here. I also put a couple archers up there, so that's kind of what they'll be doing up there, shooting down here at the forces of men. So here's what we got for the progress for this episode, along with a few other things and some plans. So next episode I'll probably end up doing is starting a design on the black gate. One thing that I want to kind of ask you guys here is I'm going to primarily use black, but I'm also going to use a secondary color. Similar to that up there, what secondary color should I use? I'm leaning more towards dark gray because a lot of the interpretations of the black gate actually have the gate, you know, being kind of a darkish gray, almost black kind of look. So I'll probably end up having the gate being a mix of black and dark gray. So I'll probably work on the gate for the next episode, and then the last episode will be finishing this mountain in the battlefield area. So hopefully you guys did enjoy. Hopefully you guys are excited for these next couple episodes. It's been a dream of mine to build Lord of the Rings, and I'm finally at a spot where I can do it, and I'm having a ton of fun doing it. So hopefully you guys did enjoy. Stay tuned for the next episode of this mock series, as well as my Star Wars build, which is Renvar from Battlefront 2004. So let's go ahead and move on to the outro. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you did enjoy. It was a lot of fun to be finally building a Lord of the Rings mock. Definitely let me know your thoughts and any ideas you have for the future episodes in the comment section below. And stay tuned for the next episode of this mock series, as well as my Renvar mock update series. I'll have another one out here pretty soon. As always, leave your feedback in the comment section below. Hope you guys have a great day, and may the Force be with you always. May need a new catchphrase for these episodes. Huh. I'm really gonna have to think about that.